In the early 2000s, when I was 12 years old, I moved into a house with my mother and older brother and younger sister. It was in a nice area on a quiet street. We were happy living in the house until one cold Halloween night. We came back from trick-or-treating to find the front porch was engulfed with a swarm of huge black flies. We managed to kill all the flies, but later that night, whilst in bed, we heard the sound of heavy boots walking up the stairs, and our bedroom door creaked open. But when we switched the light on, no one was there. We eventually managed to get back to sleep, but during the night my brother and sister who shared the room with me said they witnessed me levitating high above my bed. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember waking up seeing my mother and siblings kneeling by my bed, looking at me with tears in their eyes. Strange happenings like this continued in the following days and weeks, and we sought help from the local church and mediums. We were told the house was possessed by demons, that we should draw crosses on every door and window, or better still, leave the house. But we had nowhere else to go. On advice from mediums, we constructed an altar in the basement and read passages from the Bible. And for a while it worked. There was peace and quiet for a few days. But then the demons came back with a vengeance. My mother claimed that me and my brother and sister all became possessed, that at times strange wicked smiles grew on our faces, and that our voices became deep and guttural. I remember walking into the bedroom and seeing my sister playing dolls with someone on the bedroom floor, but no one was there, and when I said her name, she turned her head to look at me, just before she was thrown across the room by an invisible paranormal force. On another occasion, I was pushed to the floor and felt invisible hands take hold around my neck, choking me. But the strangest thing my mother claimed to have saw was my older brother walk up the wall of our bedroom. After multiple exorcisms of the house and us, the house was eventually banished of evil spirits. And even though we were never bothered by demons again, when the opportunity came to move house, we took the chance with open arms. Poltergeist is a German word meaning noisy ghost, tantruming when people don't take notice of it. And although they are called the toddlers of the spirit world, they can be very powerful and chilling. I was a teenager in the 1950s, living in suburban London with my parents. We had lived in the same house all my life and would describe everything about the house as normal. Until one morning, when I awoke to find a key and a note with the word "Hello" scrawled on it, resting on my pillow. My parents didn't know where it came from, and the key didn't fit any locks in the house. After going to bed later that night, we were all awoken by a very loud banging. The walls and floors of the house seemed to shake, causing my bed to rattle and pictures to fall off the walls. These loud noises continued most nights, and sometimes in the day too. We contacted the police and the local council, but nobody could explain where the noises were coming from, despite witnessing it for themselves. Then, one stormy night as I lay asleep in bed, I was woken by the sheets being pulled away from me. I sat up, looking around the darkness of the room, and noticed the bedroom door slowly open by itself. Apart from the storm outside, the house was quiet. As I tiptoed my way down the stairs, I opened the living room door slowly. Before my very eyes, the mantel clock was floating through the air. I stood and watched in a dreamlike state. Then all of a sudden from the kitchen I could hear plates crashing to the floor and pots and pans clanging against the walls. The noise woke my parents, who rushed down the stairs and where we all witnessed the words, "My house," being written by an invisible hand in large letters on the wall. The ordeal continued for over 2 years, but my parents refused to leave the house. Various mediums visited us, confirming that we had indeed been intruded on by a poltergeist. Then one morning I awoke to find a note scrawled on with the word "goodbye" resting on my pillow, and the key I had found 2 years earlier had vanished from my dressing table. The poltergeist had gone. I was 14 when my friend gave me the Ouija board. It wasn't a prank, just something he thought was cool. An old one in a wooden box with ornate letters scorched into the planchette. I brought it home, thinking nothing of it, but when my parents saw it, their faces went pale. My mother asked me to get rid of it immediately. My father just stood there, staring at it like it was a corpse. That night after dinner, he asked me to sit with him by the fireplace. I'd never seen him so serious. He said, "Let me tell you a story." It was 1956, he began. I was your age. Your Uncle James was older. That Christmas, our Aunt Margaret gave us a Ouija board. We laughed at it, played with it once. It didn't move, no spirits, no ghosts. Eventually, it got shoved into a cupboard and forgotten. Months later, Margaret died. Sudden stroke. She was only in her 50s. James thought maybe we could contact her. We tried, over and over again. Still nothing. But that's when the knocking started. Not on the door, from inside the walls. At night, my father continued, things began to move. Toys levitated. Furniture shifted. We heard someone walking around the room, even when we were in bed. One stormy night, I woke to see James sitting bolt upright. His bed was shaking, his body convulsing. Then he started to speak, in a voice that wasn't his. Deep, monstrous. My parents burst in. My mother tried to hold him. He lashed out, knocked her clean to the floor. My father held him down, and suddenly it all stopped. We turned on the light, and that's when we saw it. On James's chest, burned into the flesh, were 2 words: evil and hell. James was taken to a psychiatric hospital, my father said, staring into the fire. For weeks he didn't speak, didn't move. The doctor said he was in a fugue state. They found no cause. But one morning he woke up, smiling, normal again. No memory of anything. He never spoke of it, neither did my parents. And I never saw that Ouija board again. The fire had burned low when my father finally turned to me. "Some doors shouldn't be open, son," he said. "Some voices shouldn't be heard." He took the board from the table, walked outside into the snow, and tossed it into the garbage bin. That was years ago. But sometimes When I close my eyes at night, I hear tapping from the walls, and I wonder, did we really throw it away, or did something follow it home?